was probably 14 or 15 and home alone at my dad's who worked nights. While making dinner, I was watching TV and suddenly heard something slam the front door. I grabbed my pocket knife, of course, and checked it out. That is stupid. Do not investigate. But there was nothing there. About 10 minutes later, I hear another bang on the front door, repeat, and still nothing. It really freaked me out because we had a few houses get broken into on my street. Turns out I didn't put enough holes in my baked potatoes and they exploded in the oven. Dang. I mean, great that someone wasn't trying to break into your house and kill you, but girl, you still could have blown the house up with them dang baked potatoes. When I was 11 years old, I was home alone at night and got a call from the local sheriff's office. They told me they just had a dropped 911 call from this number, my house landline, and asked if I was okay. I didn't call them and nobody else was home to call them. It might have been a scam because some people can call you and make it look like it's from a different number. So that's my guess. But yeah, you might want to triple check you locked all your doors and maybe change your number, get a new landline. No one even has landlines anymore. How old are you? It was about 8:30 p.m. and I heard the front door open. Y'all are not locking your dang doors. Called out from my room asking why my mom and dad were home only a half hour after they left for dinner. Maybe they forgot something. I almost pooped my pants and straight up jumped out of my bedroom window when a random male voice replied, "What? There's somebody in here?" Yeah, sorry, someone's in the house you're breaking into. Turns out it was somebody who got hired to check on one of our neighbor's dogs when they were away on vacation, and he got the wrong house. But the raw fear that gripped me when I heard his voice still gives me nightmares. How do you not double check the house address before you go in, dummy? I was in the basement playing computer games, probably RuneScape, whatever that is. I'm too young to know what that is, so if you do know that game, then you're old. And heard someone pull into the driveway. Naturally, I assumed it was my mother who was coming home from work. I heard the screen door open, but when no one opened the lock on the actual door, I thought I'd go upstairs to see what was going on. It was then when I saw a pair of legs walk by the basement window, which was situated about a foot above ground. I went upstairs and saw two dudes in my backyard looking at the windows and talking about how the door was locked. It was an attempted home robbery, and even though everything was locked, 10-year-old me was terrified, of course. Who leaves a 10-year-old home alone? Unless you live like in the country where you don't have neighbors for miles. But do not investigate if you're a kid who is home alone. Do not go to the door. Your parents have keys and they can get in. The lights turned off all at once while I was in the kitchen. That is so scary. It was pitch black. I heard the door open. For some reason, instead of thinking power outage, my brain went to someone cut the power and is trying to kill me. It's good that you're paranoid so you're prepared. I grabbed the landline, a knife, and was crouched behind the kitchen counter, hearing steps come through the house. And I was trying to breathe as quietly as possible, but that's when you breathe the loudest. You really do. You're just like, Then I hear my mom go, "Hello? Anyone home?" By chance, the power went out at the exact moment she came in the door. That would have been a very awkward hospital trip. Yeah, sorry, I accidentally stabbed my mom. I swear she wasn't doing nothing. I'm just paranoid. I was 9 years old and my sister was 6. We had a babysitter who was 12. Are you kidding me? So we were alone in the sense that no adults were around. 12 is not old enough to be an actual babysitter. Like, no. The jerk that I was, I squirted bug spray on my sister and she chased me in retaliation. Love siblings. I ran through some French doors to get away from her and she went for the knob and missed. Her arm went through one of the glass panes. Oh, she cut herself so deep you could see muscle and tendons and bone. It looked like a really bad cut up piece of meat, which it basically was. It's so gross. The detail! This really scarred this kid. The babysitter held a piece of cloth on my sister's arm until my mom came home, which she called right away and took her to the ER. She didn't hit an artery, so it was not nearly as bad as it could have been. So yeah, maybe don't pick on your siblings and this won't happen. I was working pretty late on my computer when I got an alert from my security camera that it detected motion. I checked it and there was a person staring into my apartment window in full view of where I was looking. I closed the computer, turned off the lights, and went into the bathroom for a bit, just to hide. Turns out being extra paranoid when someone is staring into your apartment at 2 a.m. isn't a good combination. I checked the camera memory, and the guy was there for 20 minutes, just casual. He might have been crazy or on, drugs, and he was just out of it. I called the cops and the kid ran away and came back an hour later. Haven't seen him since. I think he was just tripping out. It was a hot summer and I was up late finishing off a project while my parents were at a wedding. It sounds like the intro to a Wattpad story. And then the alpha came to claim me. There was complete silence until around 1 a.m. when a random drunk dude crawled in through my window with a bottle and a blushed face. I was 20 feet away from my desk near the window, but we both just stared at each other. He was flustered and said, "Oh, sorry kid, wrong house," and attempts to leave the way he came. He was drunk and dizzy, so I helped by pushing him out the window. Was it first story? I thoroughly shut it and stared at it for 2 hours until my parents came home. She literally just shoved the man out the window, like, here's a little help. When you're drunk, your body is more relaxed and you're actually less likely to get severely injured, so he was probably fine. I was working on a farm in Northern California. It was a startup and I was the only person at nights on an isolated 650 acres. That is a lot. I would not be cool being there alone. After dinner, I was walking from the lodge to my cabin. It's dark, so all I can see is what my flashlight illuminates, plus a little on the periphery of the main beam. Pitch black. All of a sudden, there were red eyes staring at me unblinkingly. I turned the light on it and all I saw was a pale white mass behind still red eyes. A demon. Now, it takes a little bit to get me jumpy. I don't scare easy. But that time, I sure was. Picture a 6'5" man letting out an unbelievably high-pitched scream and sprinting straight into his cabin like a little girl. Just, ah! Oh, I scared my guinea pigs. The next day, I was talking to one of the guys that works during the day. I told him what happened and he fell over laughing. Turns out there's such a thing as albino deer and one frequents the property regularly. Nobody thought to warn me. They were like, he'll see it eventually. It's not hard to miss. I lived in an apartment in a not so good part of a dangerous city with my boyfriend who worked nights. Cheap and sketchy, you know, the usual. One day our friend came over and called me to let him in our building in a hurry. Turns out this guy had been crouched by my car in the parking lot and had approached our friend and closed in on him. But my friend pulled a weapon and the guy ran off, thankfully. Upstairs, I noticed that the guy had left a green bundle near my car and assumed he would be back for it. Suggested we call the cops. 5 minutes later, a cop showed up to ask where the guy had gone. And then a SWAT team, K9, and about 10 cars then showed up to swarm the area. As it happens, the guy had escaped from county the night before with 2 other men. He was in jail for assault with a deadly weapon and repeated domestic violence offenses. This guy's very dangerous. He had climbed the fence in the yard behind our building where our landlord kept his camper, broken into it, and stayed there the night before. He had also stolen all the electronics out of it, as well as a butcher knife, and was trying to break into my car before my friend showed up. So if he had gotten your ride, he would have been gone. I had been alone the night before and had taken my dog down to the yard to go to the bathroom. I noticed that the barbed wire on top of the fence had fallen down and my dog was nervous, but I brushed it off. The guy had been in the camper watching me the whole time and I never knew it. That is why ladies, even men, anybody, do not wear headphones, at least not both of your headphones, when you are out walking late at night or even during the day. You never know. You always have to be aware of your surroundings because someone could be following you. I'm not gonna read this whole thing because I'm tired of reading, but basically this kid was in 4th grade and his parents let him walk home alone. Bad idea. But he had no idea that this grown man was following him. And when he got home, this guy knocked on the door and said, "Hey, it's your friend Mike, let me in." He's banging on the door, twisting the handle, and the kid was just quiet and waited for his parents to get home. And luckily, the guy eventually left, but he was definitely trying to break in. And you don't know what this guy could have done if the kid had let him in. That is why, kids, if you're home alone, do not open the door for anybody. Your parents have keys and they can let themselves in. Safety 101. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Comment below if you have any of your own scary home alone stories. Hopefully you're okay now. And as always, please subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on social media. Links are down below and I'll see you tomorrow.